Hey, scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today with one of my favorite series, my DIY Your Scrap series, and today I'm going to be making 15 journaling cards out of the Cocoa Daisy Poppy Fields collection. And the first thing I'm going to do is tackle the title card because I thought it was so pretty, but obviously I need to customize it a little bit so that it doesn't have the kit title on it. So I'm just going to add these clouds in this die cut, and I'm going to call it good. That one was easy. I want to use this Let's Go card, and instead of talking you through all of my process every time, I want to talk to you about how I approach this project, especially when it comes to using things like kits. So obviously the Cocoa Daisy collection comes with a bunch of cards. We get all of the cards again now, so we get 24 3x4s altogether, I believe. So that is a lot, and when you get 24 cards, even if you love a manufacturer like I love Cocoa Daisy, you're going to get cards that aren't necessarily you. So what I do is I go through every single card and I decide which cards I am likely to use and which cards I am unlikely to use. So sometimes they have sentiments that don't necessarily fit with my life. Sometimes they have colors I won't necessarily use, that sort of a thing. So what I like to do is I like to go through and find the ones that I do want to incorporate into a DIY Your Scraps video and the ones that I don't necessarily love too much. And then if I don't necessarily love the card too much, then I go to the back of the card, which in this month's cards, a lot of the backs are patterns, which is really cool. Or sometimes I'll go to the backs and they will be journaling spots, which are always useful anyway. So like, for example, this Stay Calm card, I liked the sentiment. It was pretty the way that it was put together, but I doubt that I would use a card that says Stay Calm all by itself. So what I'm doing is I'm editing it to say Stay Calm and have that sticker that says you win some, you lose some, and a journaling spot as well. So I decided that it needed to be trimmed down even further. So I'm going to cut off the edges and round the corners, but you can see how I can still use that sentiment but make it work for the way that I scrapbook better. So I used the stamp set and created a journaling spot as well, and I shouldn't have done this, but I did. I thought maybe I would stack this you win some, you lose some, but it didn't work out so well, so I just put it right back together. So then I'm going to add some chipboard to it, and I'm going to call this one good too. So this is a really great way to tackle your stash and really figure out ways to use things that you feel like might not necessarily be your style. So I liked the quote on this card, but with the just plain black and white, it was a little bit too plain for the way that I scrapbook. So easy peasy, I'm just going to adhere it to something colorful because you know I love my color. And then I had this great washi tape from the collection as well, so I'm going to use the red and orange portion of it to tape down that sentiment. And then the sentiment is talking about blooming, so of course we're gonna have flowers. Cute. See, it's so easy to just take something and just make it your own and make it work for you without letting the card just go and sit in your stash. So I loved this review card, and I liked that green card with the offset notebook paper, but they were both not really my style alone, but together they made something really cool. So I'm going to use these little tiny paper clips that were included in the classified collection, and I'm going to add a little bit more to it, of course, because I just can't resist. Lots of layers. And then I'm going to put that paper clip back, and this one will be set too. So each card only takes a few minutes, but when I get to the end, I have 15 cards that I am much more likely to use and that feel like me. So I want to include this sunshine and short trips because we have hit this motorcycle season here in East Tennessee. So weekend adventures loading sunshine and short trips is perfect for a card that I will definitely be using this summer or even this spring. So I wanted to expand upon the weekend loading card because I don't often use cards that reference a specific time, like weekend or morning or Mondays, that sort of thing, because it's not the way that I scrapbook. So that was a great way to change the sentiment into something that I'll actually use. I cut down this card with this list. I think the initial header said take note, but I decided instead to make it a menu card. I do a lot of cooking. I really enjoy it. So I thought that having a menu card would work because I definitely have a food spread on the horizon. I'm trimming down this 4x6. I do not use 4x6 cards because of the format of the album that I'm using this year, but I do use 3x4 cards all the time. So I'm just going to take this and put it right in the middle, and I decide afterwards that it needs a little bit something more. So I'm going to take the washi tape from the collection and give it a little belt and then put it back on there. Perfect. Easy. See how easy that is? So I have this orange card and this I solemnly swear that I was up to no good. The other side of this card said April Fools, which is not something that we do around here. I don't like April Fools. So that's just a way to use this card. I'm sure that I will have some sort of mischievous animal or child pick to use with this card at some point. Then I'm going to add these chipboard circles to it just for a little bit more decoration. And easy. All done. So you can see I moved through these fairly quickly. I did have to speed this video up to, I believe it's either 400% or 300%, which I normally only do 200%. So it does take longer than a layout for me, but that's because my layouts use these DIY Your Scraps things, and so I'm doing the work in advance to make my pages pop that extra bit. Quotable moment recorded. I'm getting into the very last of the cards that I have to work with here. So these are the ones that I didn't quite know what to do with. I've cut down another 4x6. That Hello Spring was a 4x6. So I have these 4 cards left. I do not use the calendar cards, so I'm contemplating what I want to do with that card. I'm just going to add this little bunny to Happy Easter and then this chipboard piece, and that one's good. We don't really do a lot for Easter around here. It's not my favorite holiday, so one card that says Happy Easter, decorating all the eggs, will probably get me through Easter. I wanted to use this currently card, but the very bottom one I think was something like making or working on or something like that. So I cut it off because I didn't think it was something that I would use. So instead I've just got eating, I think it's eating, watching, reading or something like that. So I actually put 2 pieces of those 2 pieces of 4x6 together that I had trimmed off the other 4x6 card. You trim off 1.5 inches on either side to make it 3x4, so it made a perfect 3x4 when I put them back together. And because I covered up that center portion where the pattern goes together, you can't even tell that the pattern doesn't go together. So life hack, put 2 pieces together to create one. All right. Only 2 cards left now. And of course I will pull all these back down so that you can see them all together. So I know that this is going fast, but that's because we didn't want this to be a 25-minute video. So don't worry, you'll get to see them all together here in a minute. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover up all of this April card and just use it as a blank card. Normally the throw pillows are the stuffed animals of grown women is not a sentiment that I would generally use, But I have been redecorating my living room lately, and I just recovered the pillows that came with the couch. So I have a reason to use that sentiment, which is hilarious to me. Last thing I'm going to do with this card is I'm going to add a bunch of clouds, stamped clouds to it. I liked the idea of adding a black stamping with the black sentiment on the card itself, so it worked out perfectly. I'm going to do the outlines and I'm going to do the fill-in portion as well with one of these patterns. And then that is it for all of these cards. They came together fairly easily. I always like when I get to the point where I don't quite know what I'm going to do and things come together organically in a way that always surprises me. So here we go. Here's all of the cards together. And that is it. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you, and I will see you next time. Thank you.